pool that kind of represents contributions from the community to the network. So, this is just good exposure for a good pool, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for it for sure. It all seems to be happening at the same time since we just got the funding. Polish Dumpling and Eva Ginger and me are in here and Huki Pool for the Great Filter proposal. So we were counting on that being able to give us a little bit of marketing as well for our pool operations. So a lot of things happening at the moment for all of us. It's really
Absolutely.
amazing.
Hard work pays. Hello,
Oh yeah.
Bullish. Welcome.
I'm dumpling Cardano 420.
Sorry,
I want
Dumpling.
to
Welcome,
correct
Dumpling.
you. My whale is not from the foundation. I think it's a dumpling enthusiast or someone who believes
Oh,
in the
that's
China.
right. Yeah, I was the whale. I forgot. That was me. You're
Oh,
welcome.
yeah, that's right. I want to tell a little story since we're talking about meld, and I bring you the Epochly China dose. So today is going to be a story.
Please.
Um, So I did a neutral video about Meld to my Chinese audience because it's an emerging new project. And I did it very neutrally, only showing what they had put out there publicly. Specifically, I made screenshots and analysis about their alleged Chinese Meld group, which has a few hundred people, but only, talking about weird things like you're a magnificent god, let's buy Meld, that kind of thing. And I mentioned to the audience, if you guys would like me to introduce Meld in more depth, I'm happy to do that. And can you imagine what the comments were like from the Chinese people? They were like, why do you think we need it? Do you think we're stupid? This is clearly shady.
Oh,
None of the
wow.
Chinese audience wanted to see it. They're like, why do you even need a due diligence video? So yeah, this is what they're saying literally. And I didn't make any conclusions. It was all what they put out there publicly and for the audience to see, for them to comment on. Nobody wanted to see any more about it. For them, this is shady. Of course, I don't make my conclusions, but I think this is interesting for everybody here at Epochs End to hear, like, yeah, they can smell this.
That's super interesting. I mean, especially because it sounds like you were trying to give an unbiased presentation, and they're like, what do we need this for? This is crap. I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's interesting to think that the meld idea could be good. I don't want to speak on the actual project itself because I just don't know enough about it, but it's hard to separate the project from the way that they are kind of interacting with the community. And at this point, it does seem very shady to me personally.
Mm.
But so
Do
that's
they
the China
interact
Yeah,
with the
update for this week
community?
is that China is not interested. Chinese Cardano holders are not interested in meld.
No, one of the guys put it very succinctly. They're like, no offense to Cardano people, but you guys are too kind. This kind of scams are everywhere in DeFi. But is this the first time you've seen it? He
Wow.
wrote it. It's a little bit spicy, but yeah, I think it says the spirit of this.
yeah,
Thank
and
you
I
for
think
sharing that.
it's important. That's why I think it's important to call these things out because it can be very uncomfortable because people will come attack you and say that you're salty, you don't want someone to, you're a maximalist. Or I have loads of things said to me, and I think that's part and parcel of saying what you want to say sometimes because people always disagree with you. But it's important as a community that we do speak out because if we don't, then these guys will think, oh, hold on, there's a nice little community there. We can go there for a rug pull every 3 months, and they will do it. So it's important that we, as a community, sort of rally around, let people know that these things they smell bad, they don't look good, stay away. And if somebody wants to do a token raise, just do a token raise, do an ICO. Like, why are you messing about with a protocol layer? As a consensus layer. So I don't know. For me, it's something that I generally don't like. I think if you want to do a ICO, do it properly. Don't mess about with the Cardano consensus layer, and it's just shady. It just looks wrong. So that's my view on it.
Hey, I think
Monad,
there were.
how you doing, Monad? Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I had two comments quickly. I think Dumpling's observation is a little bit interesting. As someone who's worked a little bit in natural language processing in my day job, I think like English bot activity is probably like a high art now, and pretty difficult to discern, FUD from humans a little bit. But it's an interesting kind of observation that maybe in other languages such as Chinese, the bots are easier to suss out, and so that's actually quite an interesting metric possibly to
Not all
discern or
bots
run.
are created equal.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was just a fun kind of anecdotal observation. And secondly, I'm not a huge follower of either of the things, Sunday Swap or Meld or whatever. But I thought Sunday Swap, as critical as I and maybe other people have been in the for what they were trying to do with the SPO, ISPO or whatever, they seem to have repurposed or designed their stake pool offering to just use it as a means for, in addition to ADA rewards, distributing their token in a fair and equitable way. Let's say, is that accurate? I have to admit I haven't really followed the details because I'm not super interested in it. But I thought that kind of killed the whole meld value proposition because Sunday seems to be, in addition to doing normal stake pool fees, also additionally sending out tokens proportional to the amount staked with them. So you're not like trading your staking rewards for their token. You're just getting an addition to your token.
Interesting. I was thinking the same exact thing with Sunday Swap. Sunday Swap came around. I had a bunch of people asking me about it, and it was the same kind of thing, right? Where it was, well, it's safe. You're giving up your rewards, but it's quote unquote safe because they're not really taking anything. So I thought that whole thing was squashed. And then when I started seeing delegators move to Meld in the millions, I was thinking the same exact thing as you, Mona. And I was like, oh, I thought this was already sussed out. And only like 3 weeks ago. It wasn't even that long ago.
I think
the
partly
interesting
it comes
thing
down
was.
to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I'm gonna
no.
just say it. Partly, I think if you make that type of bold claim of, hey, basically this is an ICO minus the ICO, delegate to us, and I just feel like that's the whole proposition to people is you're just relying on kind of somewhat of a misunderstanding maybe of how the protocol is meant to work, and then you also just promise untold riches, right? So it's like it's just this perfect little sandwich of like, and
Yeah.
delegating is so easy. It's so easy to switch your delegation to Meld, and
And
the
it's
average user's thinking, oh, this could lead to me having all these tokens that could be worth billions one day, so why not?
Yeah. Well, I think of it as almost like the Superman problem, right? Like instead of stealing $1,000 from someone, I'm stealing. Well, not stealing. I'm taking 5 cents from a million people, right? It's like the same sort of concept where it's like I think that people are lured into a sense of, well, this is risk free, right? But if you add up everyone's little 180A, 580A, 1080A, right? And you add that all up to the, across the whole delegate, the whole size of the delegation, like it really adds up. But for you as the individual, you're thinking like, oh, it's safe. Oh, at the most, I'm only losing 1080A, 180A, right? Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Also, like, it's kind of interesting. It's almost like leveraged, right? So let's say you were to do like an ICO, or you were to just to go out and try to raise money for a project, right? So let's say they're getting 5 million at the end of the year, right? That 5 million is extrapolating to 2 to 3 to 400 million worth of delegation that's going into their pool. So that's when we're talking about it like on the protocol level, where it's almost like you're tying up hundreds of millions of delegation in order to get single-digit million returns.
Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, if Meld had taken the approach of, hey, we're doing an ISPO, we're starting one pool, and we're gonna fill up that pool. I mean, fill up the fucking pool, man. Like it's just, again, it's they've got like how many pools now?
Yeah,
like
right.
there's already scam pools out there impostering as them. So those delegators are gonna get totally screwed. I mean, by them just doing this rush to fill up pools, it screws over delegators.
I wouldn't be surprised if the so-called scam pool is their pool.
So, I mean, it's at this point, it's hard to say, but at the same time, I'm not saying I'm against all ISPOs, it's just the way that they're going about it. It betrays their lack of understanding for the protocol, in my opinion. And I'm not claiming to be an expert, but the number one goal of the designers of the protocol is decentralization. And they've said it's the single most important factor for this thing to be a success. So they're claiming to be building this great tech that's going to, make the network that much more valuable. And meanwhile, they're centralizing the network in the process, which goes against the exact ideas of what we're trying to do.
Hey, Cardano 420 takes
I'm being
on
a
a bit of
hater.
takes on a bit of a tangent, and technology-wise, what's happened to our Epochs End account? Why can't we do the space there?
I got to look into it. I'm not sure, you guys. We hit 600 followers, which I thought was the cutoff, but I checked it today right before, and we're not able to start a space. I've tried it on multiple devices. I've tried it. Yeah, I can't. I'm still not sure quite what's going on with that.
Oh, that's annoying. Oh well, but if anybody knows how to fix that, do kind of lend us a hand. And yeah, if you're not following the account already, Epochs End is the Twitter account that we want to do the space from. So if you can follow that, that'd be great.
We got Ada Heart and Hero Stake Pool. Both have speaking ability. Welcome, guys. I don't know if you have anything to add to the meld conversation.
Can I add a comment or a question to the meld situation for everybody to think about? Or maybe I missed this. So we know that SundaeSwap has delayed their ISO partly due to compliance issue, according to them. But Meld doesn't seem to have this kind of compliant issue for ISO or ISPO. Why is that? Are they not doing this in a compliant manner, or is it totally different? Or did I miss something?
Everything I've seen on that topic is people are just saying, oh, they're all set up in Singapore and they're following all the rules according to Singapore law, which is all I've seen upon.
If I could just jump in, I started reading their 52-page white paper yesterday, which is looks cut and paste to me. I haven't got to do a lot of research. They have no legal team, which brings me to a lot of regulation concern. They have zero legal team. Their GitHub is very empty. There's no product whatsoever. So if you're delegating to them, you're taking a huge risk, very big. I've looked at their comparisons to other programs like theirs, such as Celsius. I've been a Celsius user since 2018. Their information that they're presenting is incorrect. I have a lot of questions about Meld. That's all I can say. It's a lot of risk.
Thanks you, Hero.
Yeah, thanks for looking into that.
It's so smart. Like, if you don't have a legal team, then you don't have compliance issues. Then can carry on.
I mean, we're at the beginning.
Genius. That is just brilliant, isn't it? That's the type of people we want in Cardano, is it?
Steve-O, welcome, sir. You had something to add?
Thanks. Oh yeah, no, I mean, look at the DeFi space. I mean, like,
it's a den of thieves.
I mean, it's like, Panda Coin and every, name an animal, pick your animal, and it's there. Like, I mean, there's no compliance with any of these, and I adore Cardano in the sense that, like, as a ecosystem, we're all trying to contribute to this in a way that is compliant to regulation and everything, so we can have the mass adoption we all dream of. But with this DeFi space, I mean, I'm afraid we're going to see a lot of stuff come about that's going to enter the Cardano ecosystem like it did with Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, et cetera, et cetera. It's unfortunately going to be unstoppable, and as soon as more code gets released, you're just going to see clone after clone after clone. I just don't. You can't, as much as we want some sort of regulation, we can only do so much, right?
Well, it's game theory, right? Like, if the system's going to allow someone to do something and they can benefit from them, someone is going to do it. And that's I like the unfortunate, I think, outcome of this. Yeah, I mean, I personally would like to see, listen, even if a bunch of people got together and didn't have a legal team and whatever, if they even had like a really basic proof of concept, right? Here's us working on the contracts. Here's us working in Plutus, right? I think it would go a lot farther.
Yeah, just something like anything.
Anything.
And again, just
if you
and
watch
also
some,
work your way up. Do one pool, show a working minimal viable product. You know what I mean? And then, hey, this has been a huge success.
Right.
We saturated the pool. We're going to start a second one. I wouldn't cheer them on, but I would kind of, I'd respect that. Whatever. They're just pumping out pools, and I haven't seen a single update regarding. I mean, anyways, I'm not following them too closely, so shouldn't say
Yeah,
that.
but they're not here for your respect though, right? Like they're here to make money and do what they want to do.
True.
So good
True.
actors are going to come in and maybe take the model. Like MinSwap is going to do something soon, apparently. That's going to actually use small stake pools that aren't run by themselves, for example. So look that up. MinSwap.
I saw something about that.
Follow them on Twitter.
That looks really cool.
Yeah. So there's some models, and like you just said, Sunday Swap has adjusted their model to be a little more community appealing. So they're looking for the approval of the community, right? I can't see why Meld would do anything different if they're gonna go. If people are gonna delegate to 100% pools, like why not?
That's a good point.
There's no risk for
That's
them.
a good point.
I think that what it speaks to a little bit is like the need for education in the larger Cardano community, right? Because if anything, I mean, I'm not here to judge other people, but it is a little disappointing to see, people with millions and millions of ADA, ape into this, because it doesn't seem like it's the most astute move. So I guess as just like as a, I don't know, barometer for understanding where people's heads are at, I kind of think it's an example showing of how far we have to go to understand, the protocol and delegation and what it means. A little bit, I don't know. We talk about it a lot on this show, but I think that we really do the whole protocol disservice when we talk about staking through the lens of rewards. And I think it really should be much more about, staking is mining on Cardano as it relates to securing the network. And as a side effect of that, what you get is an incentive. You get a reward for it, right? Like it's the same way we talk about Catalyst. The point of Catalyst is not to get your like half an ADA reward for voting in Catalyst. The point of Catalyst is to direct flows towards projects in the community which we think will have a high return on intention and make the protocol, stronger, better, faster, right? And so when you stake with the stake pool, what you should be doing, I think, is, valuing and incentivizing the medium and long-term viability of the network, not just chasing rewards. By the way, you also get annualized 5%, return on that. But does it make sense to you? Like, I think it's all ass backwards. This whole short-term chasing
and
of
to be
a
fair,
0.25% better rewards.
the protocol wants you to play the staking game. The protocol wants you to chase the highest possible return on your ADA. That's what it's built to do, and so by delegating to a pool that has 10 other clone pools and you're getting no ADA back, you're doing the exact opposite in every way of playing the staking game. You know what I mean? So you're holding this asset of ADA, which of course you want it to appreciate in value. No one buys ADA so that it'll go down in value. But then you're taking actions which the protocol designers themselves view as suboptimal, as basically hurting the processes and throwing it into a disequilibrium, and really in a lot of ways hurting the value proposition, in my opinion.
Yeah, but if we're concerned about delegators' rewards, we would send everybody to Binance for 7%. So we have to go past that narrative a little bit too, right?
Fair. Yeah, I don't know that if we sent everyone to Binance, they'd get 7% though, if they stayed with Binance.
The interesting thing is, right, we're all talking about the rewards or the return, but most of us who have been in Cardano, the biggest returns we've got has been capital appreciation. So it's been on 100% of what we're holding that's made the real return. So let's look at this long term and think, well, hold on, we want to see capital appreciation of the asset that we hold. And the best way to do that is to make sure the network is as decentralized as possible. So as a stakeholder, that should be your prime prime directive. I don't know if Trekpool is listening. If he ever does, there you go. Shout out to Trekpool. Your mission as a stakeholder is to decentralize the network as much as possible so that your asset is as secure as possible.
Were you gonna ring the gong, Guru? We're officially in Epoch 278, so I think it's time if anybody wants to protect their ears, as Guru lines up a little gong hit here. I said gong hit. we had a guy with a ETH in his name who had speaking ability, but it looks like he dropped out. Happy Epochs End, everybody. Hopes 278 is just as good, if not better, than 277. Andrew, what's up, man? Welcome, Andrew. Thanks for popping in. Got something to add?
I was just going to kind of tack on to the whole, I guess, how we're incentivizing people with, not just rewards and not just, why we should taking aid off of exchanges as a way to, protect the network. I think the other thing that people don't think about is when you take ADA or really any crypto off of exchanges for that matter, you're ultimately going to be creating supply shock by just inherently lower amount of ADA on Binance, on Coinbase, on any of these exchanges. So naturally, you're going to be increasing the price. So to educate people in that way is also going to be a big deal, especially going forward.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because the ADA isn't locked when you stake, so it can immediately be liquid if you go back to a exchange. So it looks good, but it's not locked.
I think
right?
what Andrew's getting at, and go please, Andrew, is that your ADA isn't on an exchange that can be used as margin by the exchange, lending out to other people and stuff like that. Is that what you're getting at, Andrew? Or
yeah, and in some of the other discussions I know I've been on with these spaces, and I haven't gotten to certainly all of them, but I think there's a question is we don't know what it's like necessarily when Binance pools are out there operating if they have 90% of the ADA on the exchange locked up at any given point, or not locked up, in staked essentially, assuming that their regular customers aren't taking it off, and they probably have an idea of how much is inflowing, outflowing at any given point, so they know how much they need to keep staked at any given point to maximize their return. Ultimately incentivizing people, for the, what is it, up to like 1,000 ADA or something that you can get rewards on or something. So, I mean, there are this, for small time people, it probably does look really lucrative to keep your ADA on exchanges like Binance to get those really lucrative rewards. But, that certainly won't last. I mean, there's no guarantee that's going to stay like it is. Especially as ADA becomes more valuable, more people are taking it off, bigger money gets in there, they start doing their own custody services. Again, I think it just goes back to, yes, we need to educate the community. And I know a lot of our discussion is all inbred because we're all here, we're all hearing this stuff daily, but new people coming in, how are we educating new people? How are they getting the information? Probably YouTube, because that's where a lot of people go. I know that's where I went when I first started. I don't know, working with content creators or whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing too is just to remind people that when you take your money off the exchange and when you do play the staking game, you're empowering yourself, in a way that a Bitcoin holder, they can't. They can't interact with the protocol in that way. You just hold your Bitcoin and you exchange your Bitcoin. But just by holding ADA and by holding it in your own secure wallet, you're empowered it financially in a way that, even I have to remind myself of that. It's not just a wallet with cash sitting in your wallet that you can then go to a store and buy something with. It's really truly you are an active participant in the network, and
I think
you have an active control over where it goes.
It's important to remember that ADA is Cardano's governance token. Like all these other protocols release a new token for governance, or a new token for smart contracts, or a new token for fuel. Cardano has ADA, and ADA pays for transactions, pays for smart contracts, and it's the governance token. And that's beautiful. And the amount of value that creates in a single token is yet to be seen, I think. So
exactly, the simplicity is almost I don't want to say a disadvantage, but a lot of people are just, I think, missing it, and it's easy to miss, too. Cardano is a new kind of approach to this, what we're doing here, and yeah, I have to remind myself too that, I'm empowered to take part in the protocol just by holding ADA. Any amount of ADA you hold, you have a ticket to participate in where Cardano
Talking
goes.
of participating, what's the minimum for voting and what's the deadline? Has it just passed?
It's 500.
Wasn't it 500? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
And
sure when the deadline is, but that's an interesting
and
way
the
of putting it. It's almost like you're a citizen, just by owning 500 ADA. It's like I am a citizen of Cardano.
And that number will probably go down soon, I would assume. But yeah, no, exactly. You have voting rights. You're enfranchised by holding ADA,
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's something
really,
that you
really
can't
fun.
do right now on Bitcoin. You can't do on Ethereum. Cardano can do that right now. So, you get the people coming in thinking they're funny, calling it a ghost chain. And I think it was maybe funny at some point, but with the amount of actual tangible work going on right now, and that things you can do right now, to call it a ghost chain, it makes you look silly. So
We're
there
all
you go.
seeing the FUD increasing right now. It's unavoidable.
Yeah. There's something interesting that I wanted to talk about. I wonder if anyone here knew more about. So we were talking about just sort of like these stake pool offerings and how it's affecting the security of the network and everything. I was watching Cardano Live number 18 with the guys from DC Spark, like Sebastian and Robert and Nicholas. And I thought I heard a segment where Robert was talking about in the network, there's the ability for, as part of your smart contracts, to actually include delegation in that. So when someone launches the next dog Cardano coin, when smart contracts go live, you're actually not taking ADA all out of the network and out of the stake pools by locking it up in the liquidity pools. He was talking, I mean, if I heard this right, he was saying that it's actually still maintaining the security of the network because you can program in delegation as part of the smart contract, which seemed very
That's
interesting.
crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's an interesting concept. So yeah, the delegation is part of the contract.
That's part of the mechanic that Liquid's going for too, that you can actually interact with their protocol and it doesn't take it out of the staking process. Again, there's more to go into that, but that is super exciting to participate in like all those liquidity options and still also earn stake or earn rewards on your ADA is awesome if it's true.
It's essentially just you can invest in something now. Cardano is giving people the ability to invest in really like an asset that, I mean, you don't ever have to give up control. You know what I mean? There's no issue with liquidity in any way. You have a liquid asset which is also actively earning you passive income. I mean, it's very new technology too, and for people who are new, it's easy to kind of forget that these things are complex when you first jump in, and
I think
Cardano is doing things differently.
For anyone new listening, the question that always pops up is, where does the new money come from? And I think the best way to put it is, same way as Bitcoin, when there's inflation that pays for the security. So in Bitcoin, there's lots of computing power that goes into producing blocks, and then when you get a block, you get rewarded in new Bitcoin. So within Cardano, the stake pools get rewarded in new Cardano. That goes out to the delegators rather than going out to electricity bill, which means the amount of selling pressure on Cardano is a lot lower because we don't have to pay a massive electricity bill. So the protocol itself is designed very well. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's smart, because suddenly, if the reward's coming back to me, I have no pressure to sell it. I can sell it, but there's not, like, if you've got a monthly electricity bill to pay, there's constant pressure on the market. Like, you see these big dumps coming into Bitcoin where somebody has to pay a bill. And Cardano, you don't see that.
It's true, and it is the ultimate disincentive to spend your ADA when you see every 5 days you're earning rewards based on how much ADA you have, or partly how much ADA you have. I mean, it's kind of genius, as far as creating some type of stability in the price, although I don't know that was really their goal. But
so I just wanted to touch base on the whole liquid protocol thing. From my understanding of it, when you deposit into the smart contract, as long as your ADA is not being used and loaned out, you will still be able to delegate it. However, as soon as it is loaned out into a loan, it will no longer be able to be getting rewards as delegation. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's something to look into. We'll get an update for everybody.
That would make sense.
Hey, I see a United States online. If you want to speak, Cardano 420 can fix that. It'd be nice to hear from you, a OG from back in the day.
Just sent him an invite. Yeah, anybody who wants to speak, feel free to just request speaking, and we'll get you in here. I know Magic Cat mentioned that he wanted to tell us a little update about Pareto coin, which all you got to do is request, and I'll get you guys in here. Oh, there he is. What's up, Magic Cat? Thanks for coming to Epochs End. Are you able to speak, Magic Cat?
I am.
Welcome.
Hey, everybody. How are we doing today?
So far, so good.
Wonderful. Yeah, I was kind of letting the show go by, let you guys run through the topics before I broke in with our quick little update here with Pareto coin.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you again for giving us the airtime. Most exciting thing that happened recently is our dev team was accepted to the Bluest program. So
congrats on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That obviously gives us a huge leg up, and now we're able to hit the ground running a little bit harder. So that's our first Square update. Next up, we did release a Medium article, and you can find that on our Twitter, or you can look for us under Pareto Coin on Medium. And that's in regards as that's kind of like an introduction to the project. And
for people who weren't here last week, it was or last epoch. It's a coin that will generate donations for animal shelters. Is that correct?
Yeah, the idea is for us to be a vehicle for funding, but there's also resources that we plan on bringing to the front end here. So there's obviously more that we can talk about with that later. You know how these projects are when they're first starting. Obviously, there's a lot that we have to solidify first. But yes, as a whole, we are here to solve that problem. On whole, oftentimes across the world, kind of across all nations, there's a consistency to neglect and obfuscate the responsibility of taking care of underfortunate animals, and there's folks that are trying to take care of them as well, and they're oftentimes underfunded, and they're working with resources that are very minimal. So that being said, that's the insight on the project.
I just want to say that I have a bias on this. I like this project immediately because I am the owner of a 3.5-legged cat.
Oh, and, glory!
Yeah, unfortunately, she got hit by we don't know, but basically her owner was terrible, so we kind of adopted her. But I couldn't get her to the UK, so she's with a friend in East Asia somewhere.
Oh my! Have you shared it? Have you shared photos on Twitter? Can I look?
Not on this profile because then someone will be able to track me down.
Oh my God! You're right. You're right.
The guru is ever vigilant about not doxing himself.
I try to be. But yeah, bless her.
He doesn't realize how liberating it is.
One day. No, so yeah. I mean, animals, man, bless them, because I think there's this thing, the saying about those without a tongue, people who can't speak for themselves, and they're beings and they can't speak, and when they suffer, that's shameful on us, right? Because we shouldn't do that. Why are we doing that to other beings? It's not right.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Our team is fully behind this. I think when you read the Medium, you'll see. I mean, with a name like Pareto Coin, yes, it's playful, and we want it to be welcoming, and we're going to be bringing this to a lot of places. So we just need it to be an inviting sort of name. But when you read the Medium article, you'll definitely see the stance that we're taking on this, and it's a firm one. And we believe, especially with a community like Cardano's, which we've already spoken to the highlights of them today. I think with a community like that, we're poised to create, like Charles Hoskinson would say, positive global change. So that's what we're going for.
Thanks for the update, Magic Cat. Please keep them coming.
Cardano 420, talking of updates. Are you okay? I was worried about you today. Something horrible happened today. Do you want to share and tell us how you felt and where you were touched and so on?
What? What do you mean?
You know, they're getting rid of fleets on Twitter. You can't fleet anymore.
That's your loss, Guru, not mine. I get to look at my ugly mug all the time.
You enjoy it. Come on. Let's be honest. How often you fleet, you enjoy it. I've seen you smirking away on your fleets.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to trying to reel it in a little bit. I know that the pool's called Cardano 420, but maintaining some semblance of professionalism, I think, is important. So I was planning on reeling in some of the more
it's a difficult angle, you see. But this is where I disagree. I think you should go for your niche. You know, be true to yourself. If that's your niche, let people know what you stand for.
Yeah, I got, something I wanted to do, and I was considering was doing a full a video guide on how to set up your own stake pool and and the pros and cons and the risks and rewards and just do the whole thing. And I'm just getting progressively more and more stoned, right, throughout the video, just to kind of show, like, yes, this is difficult, but if you have some understanding of Linux and certain things, it's not impossible. And but then I was like, well, I don't know. Anyways, it's kind of a tricky one because I do understand why people may not want their SPO to constantly be stoned, but I feel like I do kind of just got to lean into it at a certain point.
It just proves how secure the network is and how good the code is, right? That you can just sit there and it just works. Like, the beauty of the code, I remember after the testnet, it was running and just sat there and I thought, wow, like, it just didn't go down. People were amazed when they started running it because they were so used to the testnet one where it would go down for some reason. When they ironed everything out and you went on mainnet, it was just a beast, literally, a beast of code that wouldn't go down.
I had a question for you, Guru, and maybe for everyone in this space. A good friend of mine and I were discussing how it could be fun to do a little what's it called when you do a offshoot or branch off from the show? What's that called? But anyways, we're thinking of I could call it Epochs End Gaming, and we start doing some kind of Twitch gameplay reviews of up and coming CNFT games, right, where your NFT can participate in some type of
420,
online game.
Will that make you happy?
Well, I think it would, Guru. I think it would.
Then do it.
But I guess I would need your permission to use the Epochs End branding as
I don't own that. This is a decentralized podcast for 20. So you can use the brand if you want. I don't care. As long as the message gets out, we share it, I'm okay.
Well, I can tell you the gaming aspect of that definitely makes sense. There are currently some NFT projects that are even planning possibly to do a Rocket League tournament in order to do giveaways. So that might be a nice in. Maybe you could be a commentator for it.
That would be awesome. And another thing too is, like, for example, I know Sushi Bites, they currently have some type of, it's almost like a Pokemon battle game where you can take your Sushi Bite NFT that you purchased and you link the wallet obviously to your profile on their website, and then you can level up your Sushi Bite and it will actually change in appearance at certain points and things like that.
Anyone old enough to remember the old fart app on Apple?
Yeah.
So when that came, like, people were trying so hard to create apps, they're being so sophisticated and doing all this work. And this guy just made a fart app and just outdid everyone. And I think he made a stupid amount of money out of it. So I'm waiting for that moment for Cardano where somebody creates a dApp for Cardano that's just so ridiculously crazy that he just goes outperformed everything. And 420, you might be that guy. You never know.
I don't know if I appreciate that sentiment necessarily, but thank you, I guess.
I'm just saying you might strike on genius.
Oh, so the guy who created the fart app is a genius. Okay, I'll take that.
He added value to people's lives. They were willing to depart with the money, and they were happy. So, and there was no like these people. He made people happy. He gave them what they wanted.
Speaking of gaming, we have Crypto Cujo on here. I don't know if you want to update us on something that's going on in the Cardano gaming world, Crypto Cujo. I know you got some projects in the works coming up.
Hello, my connection's like kind of iffy out here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We lost him right after he spoke. Okay, Crypto Cujo. Maybe next. Oh, can you speak still? I think we might be having some technical difficulties. Maybe next
Yeah, he
time.
just says connecting. So I think
Yeah.
we might have lost him. There's
Adding,
A420. I've seen him on Twitter if you want to speak.
Who, sorry?
There's that account. It's A420. ADA420.
ADA420's been in Epochs End a few times. Welcome back, sir. I just gave subcritical the speaking ability. Welcome, sir.
Hey,
Or
how's
miss.
it going, everybody?
Welcome.
So, since you're on the topic of games, there are a few different games that you can vote for in the Fun 5 projects on Project Catalyst. Like Ada Quest, which is going to be like a card game that uses NFTs. It looks really awesome. Like, I don't know if anybody was watching the Idea Fest like a little bit ago, but they did an awesome video showing like what they're going to be doing with it. And then there's also another game coming out that's more like an RPG, and that's Cardano Tales. So it'd be cool. I'm planning on playing those on my Twitch once they come out.
Oh, great. What you said it was Ada Quest and Cardano Tales?
Yeah, I would definitely look into those. If I'm going to be doing a video here soon on Ada Quest, I'm just getting more information from them.
Sounds great. Maybe just keep us updated if you don't mind coming back next Epochs End, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be coming to these more often.
Sounds good. Does anybody else have anything to add currently? I don't mean to cut it short, but I do kind of got to do a little brisk Epochs End this week.
A man in demand.
Speaking of fart apps, though, I did have an idea, and I would love for anyone who has any ideas to reach out and contribute. I eventually want to do some type of catalyst proposal for an idea called hemp coin, which, just very briefly, hemp is a non-psychoactive version of cannabis. Essentially, it can still have small amounts of THC, but it's generally considered the non-psychoactive version. But it has a lot of really incredible properties to it, which I encourage everyone to check out. But essentially, one of the big properties of the hemp plant is that it draws a lot of heavy metals and toxins out of the earth at a rate that a lot of other plants don't. And it requires 1/4 of the water that like a tree or other, for example, like cotton, it requires much less water. So my initial idea for hemp coin was create a coin that can be used as an incentive, like an incentive mechanism to encourage people to grow hemp in places like Detroit in the United States, where we have all these chemical runoff, and it's just we've completely neglected, the environment in that region. And I'm sure there'd be others that would benefit. And my initial idea is we incentivize people to grow hemp in the most polluted soil areas by essentially linking your rewards for growing the crop to somehow verifying the soil content, which, again, I'm not quite up to snuff on all the research yet. But if anybody has any ideas on that, please feel free to reach out. It's something I'm just kind of working on in the background currently.
I mean, within that brainstorm, checking the soil samples, it's a well-known possible benefit of blockchain technology overall to heighten the consistency of those reporting chains. And if you can do that within the government even, then possibly we could get all of our municipal water on track too,
Absolutely. And that was the big hiccup or roadblock that I've come to now that I need to do more research on is what would be the best way of verifying in real time and rewarding farmers who give the network consistent readings on their soil and its contents and its quality. I thought could be a really interesting idea, but further research is needed.
Just to like completely dox myself, I went to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I studied architecture for a few years. And
what year did you graduate? No, I'm kidding.
what you're talking about, we actually studied a little bit on the subject of Detroit. It's called phytoremediation, and the example that I'm familiar of was like if you plant spinach in some of these like Superfund sites, which are those really contaminated heavy metal sites, like the leaves of the spinach will like respond to magnetic fields. Just to like add some authenticity, it is the phrase that you want to Google for is PHYTO remediation, phytoremediation, and it's an actual technique. It's basically like bioengineering, right? Because the plants and the root systems can go in and basically, not metabolize, but whatever the plant equivalent of that is, suck in and pull it, concentrate these various, compounds into their cellular systems, and then the idea is not that you eat the spinach, right? You purely plant it, and then you safely transport it and decompose it rather than removing the top 2 feet of topsoil or whatever the kind of thing is, and that huge expense. So it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure about the tokenomics and the verification. That's probably some other IoT thing, but there is real science behind what you're talking about, and just thought I'd share that.
And hemp isn't the only plant that is effective for phytoremediation, but there's certain types of mushrooms that I think do it at a higher rate. But the unique aspect is that with hemp that's been used for phytoremediation, obviously you don't want to make like a t-shirt out of that fabric necessarily right away, but there are methods for separating the heavy metals away from the hemp plant after it's been grown and harvested. So that hemp could actually be used for industrial means even after it's been used and safely used for industrial means, for example, in clothing or ropes or rubbers or whatever. So it could have a dual purpose. It could be an effective way of. Anyways, we'll see.
Who knew what you could learn at Epochs End?
Do you got anything else for us, Guru? Anything just to wrap us up here? I guess we got to give away an NFT for this week, which, by the way, I've totally been slacking on that. Everyone who was awarded an NFT in the past 2 epochs, it's coming. I apologize. It's Biopool and Epoch Pool, and whoever ends up getting one today. You guys got NFTs coming. Please, thank you for being patient with me. They're on their way.
No, thank you for 20. Like, I'm sure you'll get it done because you've done it in the past, so I have faith in you. I just want to say thank you for everyone who's listening. I think we had a good Epochs End. I managed to ring the bell. That always makes me happy. So I ticked my 2 boxes. I turned up and I rang the bell, so I'm happy. No, I'm good. Is there anything anybody else wants to add before we say goodbye?
For now, say goodbye for now. More like till we meet again.
I'm going to go check my rewards at Epochs End. Everybody else, enjoy your rewards, and I'll see you in 5 days.
You got to pick the NFT winner for this week, Guru.
Oh, damn it. Magic Cat for saving the people who can't talk.
Oh, okay. My goodness.
Congrats, Magic Cat. We just gave Cardano Jobs the speaking permission. Real quick, Cardano Jobs, if you want to introduce yourself and then just maybe round out this Epochs End. Okay, maybe not. Maybe next Epochs End, Cardano Jobs. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
You're there? Here, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, no, I just wanted to say thanks very much for organising this Epochs End. As my first one, and a good pleasure. I'm looking forward to more of them. And yeah, thanks very much.
Oh, of course. Thanks for popping in, and thanks for that. All right, awesome, guys. Guru, it's always nice to talk to you, sir. Looking forward to the next one.
You too for 20, and I'll speak to you in 5 days. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Take care, everyone.
Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.